Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you. It's for Friday, the 13th day of November. Here we go. Please remember that it's Rosh Chodesh, and remember to say all of your Rosh Chodesh additions. That goes through the end of Friday, not including Marav of Friday night. Okay, today's law. A food processor, if you're going to have a food processor in your house, it's best to have one for, if you're going to use it for meat, and the meat is hot, or the meat is cold, but it has stuff like onions in it that's sharp tasting. If any of that's going on in your food processor, then that food processor cuts just like a knife. And if you've been following our laws for the last few days, a knife pressing against hot meat or pressing against meat together with stuff like onions, etc., makes for a very strong transfer of the stuff to the knife and everything. And basically, that food processor is going to become fleshix, and you then can't use it for mixing up dairy foods. So please note that when using your food processor. In your kitchen, onto other laws, it is a very good idea for you to have, if you use gloves, permanent kind of gloves, not outdoor gloves, but dishwashing gloves. If you use those when you wash your dishes, it's very appropriate to have a separate set of gloves for dairy dishes and a separate set of gloves for meat dishes. Otherwise, problems are going to happen. It's best if you have them be different colors so that you'll know that the red ones are for meat and the yellow ones are for dairy, or whatever your colors are. Next thing, you may have heard a law that just like after you eat meat, you wait 6 hours before you eat dairy. If you ever eat hard cheeses, then they digest very slowly, and you'd have to wait 6 hours before eating meat. Now, most of our hard cheeses of today don't necessarily fit that category, because when we say hard cheeses, we mean ones that were aged for like 6 months or more, and not so many of our cheeses do that. So it won't apply too often, but the cheeses that are called Swiss cheeses do fall under that category. And if you ate hard Swiss cheese, you would have to wait 6 hours before going over to eating a meat meal. So please be aware of that. If you have hard cheeses, Swiss cheeses, let's say, that were broken up and melted up in a lasagna, then they're not treated as hard cheeses anymore. Then they're just treated like regular, and you don't have to wait a whole long time after that before you go eating your meat. Next thing, if you have a hot plate, it's best that your hot plate be for your meat food, and it's not great to have one hot plate that just does all your dairy and all your meat all the time, because it could run you into trouble. If you do have to use, let's say, your meat hot plate, and 1 or 2 times you're warming up some dairy on it, then just clean it off, cover it with aluminum foil, and that will make it okay. But just to put hot meat dishes on it and hot dairy dishes on it would be asking for trouble. So if you're going to use it for both, make sure to clean it in between and to put aluminum foil on so that you don't have the meat hot dish touching the same hot plate that's touching the dairy hot dish. That would be improper. Thanks for logging on. Have a great Shabbos. Log on again after Shabbos for more. Bye-bye.